You decided to leverage women leadership as a strategic advantage of your company. So can you talk a little bit about how you all have done that at Real Leaders?
Sure. And we've done it at Real Leaders. We've also done it at Sperry Van Ness, and probably more significantly at Sperry Van Ness, because that has a long history of operating in a commercial real estate business, which is 85% male dominated. And we were actually able, within about 18 months, to take a all-male board of directors and all-male executive team and convert to 2/3 women in across the board in leadership. And the result of that was our profit margins have doubled. So now we've got women in leadership, profit margins doubled. So what I believe is going to happen is, as more and more CEOs catch on to this as an opportunity, as opposed to something that they should do and would be right to do, which obviously they should and it would be right, but that doesn't seem to motivate them to move as quickly as economics. So we really make the argument for the economic reason to achieve gender balanced leadership. And when I say gender balanced leadership, I think the initial wave really needs to be more that 2/3, 1/3, because in the boardroom, at least my observation has been, and what I've read is that women are not as forthcoming with their opinions as the men, and so we need to kind of get the numbers a little bit to the favor of the feminine viewpoint if we're going to really get parity initially.
But the ladies in this room, we don't have that problem. We don't have that problem. We don't have a problem telling people what the situation is. I mean, how could we call ourselves women business owners if we were waiting on somebody else to tell us what opinion should be the opinion, right? We don't. We talk about other women, right? Not us.
One of the things that you said that I'm struggling with is this concept that women need to behave like men to succeed, and I think. Usually when I hear that, I think of the qualities of, say, a Donald Trump type of character, right? Of strong, decisive, assertive,
obnoxious,
which,
anybody else
are really, as opposed to, say, the qualities of a male leader. That, I mean, we have the opportunity when we're interviewing all these great leaders around the world. One of the questions that I always ask is, who do you look up to as a leader? Nobody ever picks those types of leaders unless they're in the military or something.
Sure.
So they pick people like Pope Francis, a very feminine leader,
right.
Or Gandhi, a feminine leader. I mean, so if you're going to look for male role models, I would say please pick those that have those great feminine qualities that make really a true leader.
That's a very interesting point. You know, when I think about one of the things that women leaders are effective at, I think that one of the things we do really well is we leverage emotional intelligence to make other people feel comfortable. And we do that, I think many of us do that because we have children, and so we realize that you can't treat all your children the same, right? Because this one is different than this one. Now, I only have one, so I'm going by what my mother told me, right? But what I understand is that emotional intelligence is something that women leaders tend to lean on earlier in their career as opposed to later. I think sometimes it takes something like your 2 key employees leaving for you to realize, oh, should I pay more attention to these people? So I think that that's something that I think is a real strength that women leaders have.
And I think that, we continue to socialize little girls and little boys very differently still. You might call it emotional intelligence. That might be just that, as the smaller of females being smaller than males, being able to read faces, being able to read other people's emotions, because you've got to figure out how you're going to interact with that versus a little boy who, is taught to fight, is taught to wrestle. So girls and boys are being raised very differently. And the problem is that when we don't have gender balance in decision making and in, especially, in business and in public elected leadership, we are missing half the population's experiences and knowledge that has been gained over a lifetime, and concerns that have been developed over a lifetime. And it's including all of that makes us better decision makers in community, whether that community is your business or government. We don't ignore half the population, and we're better for it if we're gender balanced.
Mark, do you have anything to add?
I would just add that, my view is regardless of what qualities each gender is bringing to the table, the fact that we have half the population, actually a little more than half the population, that is being so vastly represented as our representatives seems absurd to me.
Right.
And since the majority of the voting is taking place, I mean, women have a higher voting turnout, so you would think, well, gosh, that should be easy to change. But we do, like we said earlier, I love that panel, we need more women running.